My friends, we've reached the end, and before I start crying, I'm gonna get right into this module, and I just wanna say, if you think everything that we've learned up until this point, you're mistaken. Because skills are just one part of the equation. You do not understand how to hunt for a freaking job, how to land that job, how to hold that client, and how to keep that client. I'm gonna talk about all of that and then some in this module, so get ready, let's go. Let's talk about why you should consider freelancing. And I'm not getting paid by the Federation of Freelancing, so I don't care if you freelance, if you work with one client, if you have a full-time job, part-time job, whatever you do, I'm gonna break it down for you so you can make sense of it logically and pick and choose if this is the right thing for you. So let's start with number one, flexibility. So basically at a full-time job, you're clocking in and out, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, 40 hours minimum. And that's sort of like the deal for a full-time position. So what happens is that you cap out. Let's just say you get a job as a entry-level video producer and you're starting out at like $50,000 in the United States. Well, you're kind of tapping out at that. So even if you have to put in more than 40 hours a week, which a lot of the times you do, if you're a salary, you're kind of stuck at that. And then every year, let's just say you're a rock star and you kill it, you're only gonna get like 4%, 6% increase in your salary. And if you do the numbers, like it doesn't come out to anything. And that's just what I mean. On the other hand, with freelancing, it gives you a lot more flexibility. So you can pick your own hours. If you wanna work one week, 120 hours, you really can. If you wanna work 20 hours the next week, you can. You kind of go with your own pace rather than it being decided for you. So that is a huge plus for many creatives out there, especially in our field. Creativity that just doesn't kick in at 9 a.m. every morning, okay? A lot of the times when I'm editing, my schedule is reversed. Like I'm working from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., something about it. Like it's just, I'm by myself, phone is not ringing, everybody else is asleep, and I can really pay attention to what I'm doing. And I need that concentration when I'm editing. Color grading does not matter. Give me a pitch black room and I can just color anywhere, anytime, does not matter. So that's what I mean. Flexibility matters a lot when you're a creative. Number two, variety. That goes a freaking long way when it comes to being a colorist, because think about this. If you're working with a company full time and it's an automotive company, then everything that you're doing is related to cars. So if somebody is looking for a beauty commercial colorist, then you're not gonna land that gig. So being a freelancer, you really have the choice to kind of diversify your portfolio, get to work on many different projects, and then have a much broader spectrum that you can cover. So when the right job comes, you can just jump on it and you'll have a reference to show them what you can bring to the table. Number three, working with rather than working for. You can't put a price on that, okay? I worked with the company full-time for about a year and a half in 2012. And yes, I learned a lot from it, but you do not understand the toll it takes on your soul as a creative. When you're just told all the time what to do, it doesn't matter if you had dreams to be this next Spielberg or Roger Deakins or whatever have you, it's not gonna happen. Your ambition is gonna die down, your fire is gonna extinguish, and you're not gonna be the same person 2 years down the road. So freelancing gave me that opportunity to have my voice because I am working with people. We're collaborating. We're more like partners than me just being an employee and told what to do. And that's, where my job pretty much description ends. Number four, lifestyle. It goes back to the whole idea of if you have a full-time job, 9 to 5, you're really restricted to do things over the weekend and things like that. When you're a freelancer, you can literally turn your Saturdays, Sundays to Wednesdays and Thursdays when nobody's out, and you can really take advantage of the happy hour and all the perks, like you don't have to wait in lines, things like that. That's the lifestyle my wife and I have been living for the last decade, and I cannot imagine going back. Same thing goes with vacationing, stuff like that. I mean, we just pick the best times, best prices, and have this experience of our life, and everything feels like it's just catered to us and it's tailor-made for us because we're picking the right time to do stuff, which is not dictated by when we can do it because of our work. Number 5, Rolodex. You've probably watched countless interviews on YouTube by famous actors, directors, and all of them say the same thing, that networking is everything, and nothing helps you boost your networking than freelancing. Because you're hopping from job to job, you're meeting all these new people, and if you have a good personality, before you know it, you'll have just offers coming through the freaking wazoo, and you don't even have to do much for it. It's just gonna be a snowball effect, and it is almost impossible to replicate that when you're working for only one client in a full-time job where that's all you got. Number 6, tax write-offs. I'm gonna talk about what happens in the United States, but I know for a fact that this is how things go down in other countries too. So the biggest advantage of being a freelancer is that you can start your own small business and be an S Corp. So once you sign up for an S corporation or a small corporation, the benefits are crazy, especially in the United States. The government encourages small businesses to create jobs, and that's exactly what happens when you get tax write-offs. Last year, I was able to get about 5 employees on and off that were working on different projects for me. So just think about that. Actually impacting other people's lives on that scale, that does not happen at a full-time job. That can only happen when you're freelancing because you create your own system. So I'll highly advise all of you, honestly, to look into this because you don't understand. If you don't create an S Corp in the United States, then you're probably screwed and more likely to go get a full-time job because you need that insurance and all those perks that you get with a full-time job. But once you understand the benefits that you can get with an S Corp, it's going to be game over. It's going to be a eureka moment. Look into it, do your own research, talk to your tax guy. And I'm telling you, that's probably the biggest advice you're going to get from this course. Number 7, gateway to entrepreneurship. Nothing jumpstarts your entrepreneurship career like freelancing. You're dealing with so many people, so many different projects, highs and lows all day long, and you become so seasoned and it becomes part of your freaking nature that moving into that world, the entrepreneurship world, that's the next level, is basically a cakewalk. Number 8, scalability, the granddaddy of all the points that I just made. So when you're moving up gradually and all the steps that I just took you through, eventually right around the entrepreneur path, you're gonna start scaling. And when you start scaling, a couple of points ago when I was telling you that I had 5 employees last year, just look at on the screen. I was able to pull about $234,000 last year by working right around about 110 to 115 days. The rest of the time, it was given to all the employees that I had. Some work was getting done in India, some work was getting done in Russia. And this is what happens with scalability. It doesn't mean that I'm working 400 days to make that money. I can work smarter and less and just distribute that work, have a bigger team, and that is a pipe dream if you're a full-time employee, but it's just a gradual shift and incline when you're a freelancer to an entrepreneur and then scaling your business into something much bigger. So I don't know about you, but just spelling out all these points got me so stoked that this is what I've been doing for the last decade, and I'm only going up and things are happening, and it would have never been possible if I was stuck at one place, but it does not come without a cost. Now let's talk about what it takes to become a freelancer. By watching the last video, you're probably like, it's a no-brainer, game over, I'm putting in my 2 weeks and I'm gonna start freelancing. Hold on a second, just let's go through this list and then you can decide what's the next step. Let's go. Number 1, guts. This is the key ingredient in becoming a freelancer, and let me explain why. It's really nice to get checks on the 1st of every month and on the 15th of every month, even if you're making nothing. Even if you're making $30,000 in the United States, you know you can live somewhere where you can still survive off of that, but knowing that your bills are going to be paid and you're getting paid on the 1st and the 15th, and having that predictable system gives you a peace of mind. On the other hand, freelance world, forget about it. One day you're a freaking rock star, you're charging crazy money, and then for 3 weeks, crickets. You got nothing going on. So that right here, I mean, you got to pump that chest up and you got to just keep your chin up and keep going. And all it takes is a freaking rock hard guts. Like, you just really need to weather the storm. And that happens all the freaking time. It never gets easier. And that's why I said it's a lifestyle, because you have to choose this path and then stick with it. Number 2, hustle. When I say hustle, I mean not a phase like where you're hustling for 2 weeks and then you're burned out and you need a vacation for a week and you got to wind down and blah, blah, blah. No, I mean go and never stop. And the only way you can do that is if you live and breathe this stuff, okay? If it's in you, if it's running through your veins, that's what you're about, that's it. And the hustler attitude starts by saying yes to everything. Whether you're working for free, whether you're working for pennies, whether you're working for your rate, whether you're working for more, whatever it is, whether you're working on something you've never worked before, just freaking say yes and go in. I'm not teaching you fake it till you make it. I want you to get in there and just own it. Just own it. Give your 150, give your freaking 300%. And then what do you got to lose? Because at the end of the day, even if you just fail and the project didn't come out how you wanted it, the experience that you gained from it already freaking just took you on a whole another caliber. And freaking everyone loves a hustler. Tell me one person that you know that freaking hustles and is passionate about their craft, and that person is annoying to you. If they really own it and if they really mean it, you fall for it. And there's a difference. Some people are salesmen, which means that they're selling something that they probably don't own in their hearts. That's different. Like, if you own it and if then you share it with the world, you're going to feel it differently. And that's what being a hustler is all about. Number 3, skills. This one is very, very important. You need to be on top of your game, because here's the thing. There's so many times I'm working for agencies where they have a full-time staff that they're paying base salaries, and anytime they get a really cool gig, if they're working with Nissan or Toyota or a really big client, they'll bring me in. And I'm the freelancer, and they have like 6 editors just sitting there looking at my face while I come in to edit their thing and then grade their stuff and then turn it in. And the reason why that happens is because I have a niche. I have a specific skill that they need that they don't get from people that they pay base salary. So you have to have that edge, and that edge comes from learning and just putting your head down and keep going. And I'm not talking about analysis paralysis where you just learn and don't apply. There's a really fine line. It's learn and apply. It's like left and right hook, right? It's like learn and apply. And as soon as you pick up something, boom, apply it. So it gets burned in right here. So then when the job comes, you know how to just pull that out, that specific skill that you gained, and then just keep moving forward. Number 4, communication. You have to have exceptional communication, because you can be very easily forgotten because you don't even work for the company. You just go in and do a job and then you're out. So out of sight, out of mind applies to freelancers all the time. So you don't want to be that statistic. You want to be the person who they remember. You want to be the person that they want to have a beer with. You want to be that person that they just cannot wait to get their hands on another project so they can call you and have you in, because they enjoy your company, they love your work ethic, and you're just a freaking killer at your job. And when I say communication, I don't mean the bullshit like send an email, then do a follow-up, that kind of crap. I'm not talking about formal communication. I mean, go beyond that, okay? Get to know people. Get to know people on a personal basis. I really mean it. You're not intruding. You're only intruding if you're thinking in your head that you're doing it for some outcome, if you need something in return. If you just have the attitude of giving and just do it out of curiosity and get to know humans, you'll see that everyone will freaking love you and it will come right back around. Don't ask for it and it'll come to you. Ask for it too much and you'll never get it. Number 5, passion. Nothing will get you noticed more than passion. It's one of those things that even if I'm watching a video online and I have it on mute, I can just hear someone moving their hands and how they're talking, and I can just feel their passion. Same thing translate into your work. If you put a lot of passion into it, it just speaks for itself. And that's why anything that you do, you really have to go in and give it your best, and then the passion will come through, and then it's game over. Charisma. If passion can get you noticed, charisma can keep you around. So charisma is that thing when you walk in the room and everybody's freaking excited to see you, and you have to bring that energy in. And it doesn't matter. You could be introverted, you could be extroverted. When people talk about their passion, it doesn't matter. I've talked to so many freaking introverted people. When they're talking about something they're passionate about, I mean, they're the most outspoken person. So then you need to have that, embody that attitude and put that out and just let people know. Like, give people your charisma, your energy, and they'll remember you forever. Ownership. Trust me, that is probably the biggest weakness as an artist. And the thing that I see in people day in and day out, nobody wants to take accountability. Everybody is blaming somebody. You know exactly what I'm talking about. A colorist is saying it wasn't shot right. A freaking DP is saying there was no shot list. The lighting was this, that, and the other thing. A director is saying one thing. Nobody ever holds themselves accountable. So it has to start with you. And especially as a freelancer, when you get cut, you get cut. Again, you don't get a call back. So you really need to take it upon yourself. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you have to be silent. Let's just say if the footage is actually really bad, then you can just say what's the problem, but then also offer a solution with that. So then that way you're not getting screwed. They don't think that you suck. You can just say, hey, this is what's happening. Wanted to bring it to your attention. But that said, I have these solutions. So what do you think? Like, do you think we have to reshoot or we can salvage this footage? And then present them with those options, be helpful and anticipate their needs. And that takes you really, really far, because a lot of the people, like I said, in this industry do not take ownership, which means the first thing that goes wrong, they throw in the towel and they're like, we're done. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. So if you're the guy who takes accountability, takes charge in that moment, I mean, you just seized the day and you did it. You're in. Now, this is $1 million question. Is freelancing for you? And this is where I want to slow down a little bit. Okay, so far it's just like boom, boom, boom. It's sort of like all the pros and you should freelance and blah, blah, blah. Let's analyze this. Let's sit back and really look at this and mold it around your personality. Everybody has a different personality. And then just kind of analytically go through it and decide if this is for you. And then if it is, how can you figure out a roadmap to kind of hit it in the right direction? So let's go. My first question to you is, do you work well under pressure? So many people that I know, they cave in. When they're under pressure, they give in. They can't handle it. And it's a very natural response for a lot of people. On the other hand, the way I was raised, all my brothers and myself, like, we picked that up from our dad. He is just a freaking getting in your face kind of guy, never scared of anything. And just being around that all our life and taking that in, it's the opposite for us. So anytime I'm under pressure, I freaking thrive. 99% of the times I put myself in that situation where I have to do things under pressure because I know that's when I'm going to get the best results. And now that I don't recommend that, because this is not great. Being under pressure and have that high intensity and that high adrenaline at all times is not great, probably for your heart and for your health and for the longevity, but I'm bred from that DNA. That's just me. But this is a very, very genuine question that you have to ask. And that's the first thing when it comes to freelancing that you got to ask, can you do that? Because you don't understand. There's so many times when you're going to be looking at, where's the next check coming from? Are you going to make the rent? Do you have money for groceries? Things like that. And this is just real life situations. Everything that I'm sharing here, I've gone through it. And eventually you're going to learn to like budget and this and that. But in the beginning, those are the things that you're going to be facing. So you have to understand, can you take that pressure and deal with it and then figure things out? Are you good to think on your feet? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely give freelancing a chance. If the answer is no, then kind of sit back and maybe it's not, never say never. So it's not that, You can say no for now, but then start thinking about this and start working on these things. And hopefully in a year or so, you're going to be ready to freelance. Number 2, are you good with managing money? When I started my first full-time job back in 2010, I was fresh out of college. I mean, we were stupid. My wife and I at the time, we were just crazy. I would get paid on the first and the money would be gone on the second, and I'm sure most of you or a lot of you have experienced that when you're new and you're just starting to make some money, like you don't know how to allocate everything, and then we learn as we grow. But some people may never learn, or some people, it takes longer to get to that point than for other people. So which one are you? If you're still struggling with that, then think about it and really consider before you give up your full time to go for that freelance opportunity, because that's going to be a problem. You really need to learn the concept of stashing away. That's just what I do. And that's just, so normal to us now that every time I get a big fat check, I just put it away and then spend whatever I need to spend and splurge a little bit here and there. But I know that, hey, this is not how it's going to be all the time. I'm not going to be working and making $40,000, $30,000 a month every month. So I need to just be, mindful of that and then just go from there. And once you got a grasp on it, then you have the edge, because the money that you can make as a freelancer is just ignorant. Like you can easily make 2 to 3 times the money that you can with a full-time job. So if you learn to manage your money, you're in heaven. Does unpredictability excite you or frighten you? Another very important question you got to ask yourself. My older brother, he likes predictability. Everything in his life is very straightforward and very binary, and he likes to keep it that way. If the thing goes from here to here, he freaks out. He doesn't like it. That's just not him. That's not in his DNA. And we're from the same family, but I'm the complete opposite. I love unpredictability. So does my wife. So this lifestyle is tailor-made for us. We like things to just go up and down and this and that, and like we can just manage and maneuver and do whatever we want. I feel much more nimble in this environment. So are you the kind of guy who has a 10-year plan and is sticking with it? Or are you somebody who kind of lives in the moment and figures it out as you go? Do you get bored easily? That's a pretty self-explanatory question. So if you're the kind of guy who works on something and just can't stand to see that thing for more than 5 days, 10 days at a time, then you're a born freelancer. If you're somebody who can find comfort in working on a similar thing that you work to perfect over time, and then that's all you got to do, and your job is just so much easier now because you've been doing it for the last 2 years, then think about it. Maybe freelancing is going to give you a lot of anxiety because you're going to be jumping from project to project, and that might not be the right fit for you. Do you like to lead or follow orders? Now, a lot of people might just say, no, but I don't like to follow orders, blah, 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 like I'm a leader, this and that. But if you really sit down and think about it and take in this question and really see your first response, when you're at work, do you like that somebody else takes the accountability, somebody else takes the pressure who's giving you the order, so then you can just execute, do your best, and then if the thing falls flat, it's not on your shoulder, it's on someone else. So if that is you and you find comfort in that, then, again, think about the freelancing route, because you're going to have to be accountable for everything that happens. And sometimes, your surroundings too. So you're really kind of doing many different things and playing many different roles, because you're basically a business. You're not just an employee doing one thing, collecting paychecks. So that's the thing that you got to think about. A lot of the times when I'm working on professional gigs, I'm presenting them with solutions and I'm making sure that I'm being respectful and I'm not stepping on anyone's toes, and especially the creative director or whoever I'm dealing with. But I just respectfully present them what can make something better. And if they think great, they'll take it. And if they think no, then that's a no. And I don't get hurt and I just move on. So that's where the leadership comes in as a freelancer. And that's a very valuable skill. So these questions are really carefully put together. And I really need you to just take a moment and come up with your own answers, and don't think too much about it, because if you're going to think a lot, then you might give the answers that are not really you. So just like the first thing that comes to your mind, write it on a piece of paper and analyze it. And again, this does not mean that if your answers are like, hey, you're not a freelancer, you will never be a freelancer. With this, it can at least give you some sort of a roadmap, what you need to work on to get to that point where you can actually become a freelancer. All right, so now I want to do do's and don'ts of freelancing. Let's go. Always be learning. So back to the point that I made a couple of videos ago where I said that you have to be on the bleeding edge. You have to be on that next level to really thrive as a freelancer. Otherwise, what's the difference between you and the person that they pay base salary fresh out of college? So you really need to be the assassin. You know, think about Born Identity. You remember they had those assets that were just always just like chilling in their freaking hotel room, and then they get a text message and then they go and freaking execute and they're killer. They're the best at their freaking job. That's what you need to be. Think about that when you're thinking about freelancing. You have to be that freaking asset. And throughout the module, I already shared a lot of my resources where I go and just stay sharp and just keep my skill set up to date. So just if you follow those, you're going to be in good shape. Number 2, stay connected with your network. And this goes back to don't have just a bullshit relationship that, hey, I need something from you, me, and then do follow-ups and keep it all business. Make it personal. Get to know people on a deeper level. And once you build that relationship, that camaraderie, it goes way beyond you getting a call back once or twice. And that's the skill that's going to get you hired in perpetuity, because that producer that you have that camaraderie with, he's bringing you on regardless of the job that he's working on. Even if, let's just say that your specialty is cars and he's working on a beauty spot, he's going to ask you that, hey, can you do it? He's going to send you some stuff for you to try it on. And I'm saying all this because this is based on real life experience. And this is how I landed so many gigs. And that's the example of a healthy modern day networking. Don't get comfortable. The day you get comfortable, say goodbye to your freelancing career, because you just have to be on your game. You have to be performing at 150 at all times. And there is no slowing down. And that's why I say it's a freaking lifestyle that you have to live by. You need that adrenaline rush. You need that just plowing through and just always going forward and never stopping attitude. And if you got that, then you're a freaking success. Don't be difficult. This goes back to that whole point of you taking accountability. And if you're one of those people that don't, then you're going to fall into that category pretty hard. And the thing is, the unfortunate truth is that the skill set does not matter. The badassery doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're hard to work with, nobody's going to work with you. And you're literally going to be just like twiddling your thumb, figuring out what the hell's going on. Why doesn't anyone wants to collaborate with me when I'm so good at what I do? Because it all comes down to you being a good human being and easy to work with. So that's number 1. Do not confuse that with being a pushover. That doesn't mean to be a yes man. That just means that, hey, you are accommodating and you take accountability. Do not do it for the money. I mean, the number 1 question that I get on all my social media platforms from people is how much should I be charging before they even know color grading? I mean, come on. You know, I'm still working on really high-end music videos for huge people that I can't even mention for freaking free. Literally, for freaking free. I even think that they have the money to pay me, but just because they know they're so huge, they're using that as a leverage because they just want this. They go, hey, do you want your name associated with this? Then do it because it's going to get 200 million hits. And you know what? It's a good bargain for me. I don't even care because my attitude is I don't do it for the money. I do it for my freaking portfolio. I do it for my freaking experience. I do it for my freaking happiness. And ultimately, I do it because I take pride in it. I'm committing to something that I know is going to benefit the other party first. I just know that I can bring something to the table that's going to blow their freaking minds and make them very excited and happy. And secondly, I know that, hey, this is going to be great for me because this is the direction I'm going in. And I have a very, very clear direction to where I want to be 10 years from now as a colorist, as a filmmaker, and as an entrepreneur in general. So you need to have all these things and all these goals in line and make those your primary objective rather than the quick win, which is how much should I get paid? What's in it for me? And when you come off being that person, it's disgusting. Nobody wants to work with you. Again, that does not mean that you have to be a philanthropist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that be mindful of that. Money will always be there and you will get paid. Nobody wants to jib you, but don't make that the primary subject when you're applying for a job or when somebody reaches out to you and that's the first thing that's coming out of your mouth. And it's extremely important that you follow these steps and implement it. I don't care if you put out a reel last week, apply these things to your current reel and re-export it and just see what happens. Okay, you're gonna notice a freaking crazy difference in your acceptance rate. So let me just start from the beginning. And the first thing that we got to start with is the title card, which is going to have your contact information. So just watch how fast it comes. I'm going to play it through. Boom. And that is it. You don't have to flood it. You don't have to turn it into an infomercial where you have your phone number, your house address, all that stuff. Just one form of communication. If it's your cell phone, that's okay. If that's your primary source of connection. For me, email is just the best way to reach me, especially when I'm doing B2B. And that's why I'm going to have this. A lot of people make that mistake where they wait till the end and then they use their contact information as the end card. You're giving people the benefit of the doubt that they're going to stick around for that long. You literally got 6 to 10 seconds to keep their attention. Really like 6 seconds, not 10. To keep their attention. And if you don't do that by banger visuals and everything else, you lost them. So if you have a title card in the beginning, you're not missing that opportunity. Second, put your best work first. Again, that whole mentality, save best for last, works probably in different situations of life, but when it comes to your demo reel, you have to start with the freaking banger. You have to hit it hard. You have to just get their attention and hold it. So it's gonna go literally your best work, 10 out of 10, then your 9, then your 8, and then pretty much just stop at 8 or 7. Like, don't have shots that you shouldn't have in a demo reel. 3, keep it tight. And specifically here, we're just talking about color reels, so let's just stick with that because different rules apply to different types of reels. When it comes to color reel, no freaking way. Go look at reels from A52. Go look at reels from Company 3. The real businesses that are putting out pretty much any and everything that you see on TV and on big screen, their demo reels are like around a minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe 2.5, 3 minutes, if that. So keep it pretty freaking tight. I have a billion projects and it was impossible to choose the best shots and make a reel that was this tight, but just look at this. My reel is right around 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And I was super selective with the projects that I pick. You know, you have to make some difficult choices, but you almost have to be on the other side when you're looking at your show reel and just really see what somebody else wants to see and what they find interesting, not what you are attached to or how you feel about a certain project or shot and you think that it should stay in. 4, keep it linear. And what I mean by keeping it linear is this. So we start with Vizio. We go into the next shot that is also Vizio. Then I'm going to go to PNG spot I did for the Olympics a couple of years ago. Then I'm going to go to another shot from PNG. A different spot from PNG. And then I'm going to go into RAM. Another RAM. Another RAM. You get the idea. Then we got Speedo, Speedo, Speedo. In color grading, if somebody is looking to hire you, they're looking for continuity. Like, can you tell a story through color and can you stay consistent? That's way more important than for you to just create a montage with a hodgepodge footage that's all over the place with no direction. So keep that in mind. Very, very important. Tell a linear story and then just move from project to project. So clump your shots, move project to project. You can still tell a color story because I'm doing that here. I'm like starting out with these earthy tones and then I'm going in and here it's like all dark stuff. Just all dark shots, black and white. Then I come out of it with something vibrant. and then I'm taking that car's color and then going into that sky. So I'm still doing that, but there is a method to that madness. So create your own system. Moving on, let it breathe. If we're talking a color grading demo reel, you gotta let the shots just kind of sing. Just let them stay on screen for a second so people can really take it in, because this is not a quick trailer editing reel where you're saying, hey, I can do these super quick edits. And that's where it might get challenging for some people, because how do you let it breathe and then keep it tight? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload my demo reel for you guys under the course content, and then that way you can look at my demo reel and kind of analyze it and see how I broke it down, and then literally just use this formula for your own reel. I don't care. So just follow this exact format for your demo reel and you're going to be blown away. It's going to work out for you. End with the title card. So now that we had intro card, we don't want to miss the opportunity for the end card. What if somebody plays it and just overlooks that title card for whatever reason? They're looking away, it goes away, they watch the reel and they go, oh cool, let's just see if this dude has a title card. And they're going to go to the end, and if they don't see your contact card, they're going to be like, what the hell? Cover your bases, and that's what that is for. So end it with the contact card, and it could be exactly the same. Like my intro, my outro, title card stays the same. Keep it consistent. And 7, ultimately very subjective. That said, music is everything. Nothing is going to hold their attention as much as music. So visuals are gonna be amazing, and that's great, but if there is a freaking great soundtrack to go with the visuals, that's just a cherry on top, and that's really gonna seal the deal. So keep that in mind, because music is just such a psychological thing, you know, it's just playing in the background, but it does something where it makes them happy, it makes them smile, all those things. Put a lot of thought into it. Music cannot be a throwaway thing just because you're thinking that, hey, this is a color reel, music doesn't even matter. Every single thing matters. So that is how you build a freaking killer demo reel that I guarantee you will land you a job, landed me a freaking ton of gigs, and I just put that out a couple of months ago. So definitely do this. Let's talk about how to build a website that's going to land you clients guaranteed. I'm going to follow what I got going on. You can go do your own research. This website was built after spending a long time researching what else is out there, also what I wanted, and just the copy alone and figuring out a structure where it's just laid out the way it is for it all to come together. It was crazy. I want you to take this again, copy the template, throw your spin on it, throw your flair on it, and just give it your name and be done with it. Because this is something that's tried and tested and it works. So the website is built on Squarespace engine. So that's just one technical thing I'm going to talk about. The rest you can figure it out for yourself. Now let's get into the design and how everything is laid out. First thing, for a colorist website, demo reel. That is the key. You're gonna start off with that. So first thing you see here is my demo reel playing in the back, but if you really want to play it through, you can click on it and it will start playing it through. You click on it and boom, there you go. It plays through. You can make it full screen. It's up to you. You just click away and you come right out. 2, you need to find a space here to say what you do. So if somebody lands on your page, I like to keep things very minimalistic and super clean. But look right here, under my logo, it says right there, a virtual post studio. Not just a post studio, a virtual post studio. So I'm basically telling the entire story right there as a tagline under my company's logo. So think about something like that, keep it very concise, and just keep it right there in front of them so they can see it. So that is the landing page. Now I'm gonna scroll down really fast and let's look at this. Colorful, compelling, collaborative. So I'm basically accomplishing color grading through colorful, compelling, through editing, collaborative. That is the whole mission behind having a virtual studio, where I get to work with so many different talented people from all over the world. And that's what I'm selling right here. But it's mine. I'm showing personality through the copy. And then right after that, build an authority. So I'm building an authority. As soon as you scroll down right here, look all the things that you're seeing. You're seeing my personality coming through, and then I'm building authority by telling you what kind of brands I've worked with. And then if we keep coming down, again, a little color never hurt anyone. Just a little personality coming through. You don't want to make it a dud like any other website. Have a little something special. Make it your own. And then as soon as you go down, why us? That is a very important one. Why anyone should pick you over someone else. And this is where I explain that in a very concise fashion. Then underneath that, services, what exactly it is that I'm offering. And then contact us. You need to have contact us pretty much on every single page, so you never miss the opportunity where if somebody's got the urge and they want to reach out, boom, it's right there. It is also right here. So I'm using Drift, and that thing is basically anytime if it's your first time on my website, this thing is gonna pop up, and then you can just write me a quick message and I get it on my phone and I can reply back right away. So a very, very handy little thing, and it's powered by Drift. So you can just look at Drift, Google it, and then see how you can sign up. And that's that. And then I'm gonna end it off my first page with testimonials. So testimonials go a very long way, and it's one of probably the most important thing, and that's basically helping build your authority even more. And that's something that anyone can do. So let's just say if you don't have crazy triple A list brands under your belt, anyone that you work with who was a director for the last film you did a cinematography for or color grade for, that person can write you a one-line thing that can go right here for your testimonial. So very important. And then underneath, the mother of all things, which is social media, needs to be right here, and you got to put every single thing on here. Okay, make it frictionless for them. So that is my first page. Let's move on to my work page. And I mean, I'm just so freaking proud of it, like how I have it set up. This is unfreaking real. I mean, just look how clean it looks and how minimalistic it is, and it just gives you that Apple vibe, you know? It's just, it's a showcase. So it needs to be like a portfolio in a digital form. They just get to see it all right here. Hover over, you know, you want to see whatever you want to see, you click on it, boom, opens it up, plays it through, and then you click away and you're back out. So that's my work page. It's set up like that for the entire thing. So all the ones that are important projects, everything is important, but then some projects that are sexier than others, I have them basically featured. So those are the big pictures right here, right? So that's how I have it set up. Then you go under my about page, and the thing that you need to understand that's very, very important is something called white paper. So you need to have that. About page is where I get super technical and I put all the copy and everything right here. So you don't want to put this as on your main page because it's just too much and too wordy and too crazy. But I was asked so many times by people, Virtual Studio, what is it exactly? Where can we find out more about it? So after a ton of requests, I created this whole thing, and that was able to satisfy most of my clients. This is the place where they can come in and take their time and just read through every single thing. My media pipeline management, my reviewing process, like video asset deliverables, like how do we attack anything and everything, or all the questions that a client might have. And then underneath these 4 pillars, I love them. They again show the personality and what this brand is about and how friendly and cool we are. Moving on to contact, I'm gonna go back to the same mantra, keep it frictionless. Just one thing, nothing more. I don't need a freaking form for them to fill out whatever. They click right here, email opens up, they send me an email, done and done. keeping it simple, keeping it clean. And that's my website. And I genuinely feel like, look it up, do your own research, obviously. But if you just want to follow this pattern and you don't know the first thing about websites, get close to it, hire someone to do it. It's worth the freaking paying someone 500 or whatever. I pay much more than that, but it doesn't matter. You can just pay whatever you can afford. These are the things that are gonna land you your gigs, so you can't take it easy. And ultimately, I'm gonna say presentation goes a very freaking far. Everything that you see on here is from my projects. Even these images that I'm using, nothing on this site is stock. This is all mine. These are the projects that I graded, okay? Even if you go to About and you see this picture, it's a project that I graded. So I'm keeping it all clean. This picture, it's a project that I graded. So it's everything is authentic, everything is real, and that's what adds personality. Color grading is all about presentation and the final touch, so you can't really slack on that and just have a premium product. Do I need social media accounts? Let's talk about it for a second, because don't make the mistake that I made, okay? Too cool for school. This is beneath me. I work on real stuff. I don't need to freaking share anything on social media. Social media is for the freaking teens. All this nonsense. You know, I learned to be on social media after I watched my parents being on social media all the time. That just made me feel more comfortable to be on social media and not be judged, because I'm like, they're doing it. And this is like so freaking past their generation. Like, what the hell's going on? So when I saw that, it gave me the freaking vote of confidence to be like, I can do it too. Like, it's okay. Like, I shouldn't feel judged. And so many of you out there, I know it. And some of you I even interact with, and I go in and I look at your page and I read everything. Please just stop it. Do not let like the fear of what somebody might think, what somebody might say, like hold you back, because you do not understand. This is what you're doing. You're doing two things. You're robbing yourself of like the potential clients and the potential experience and work that you can get and the life that you can provide for your family. So you're robbing yourself and your family. And above all, you're robbing the whole world from what you have to bring to the table. And that is, it's not narcissistic. What I'm sharing with you guys, and hopefully I am impacting a lot of your lives. And if that's happening, that only makes me happy. And this gives me joy. And this makes me want to do nothing else in life but this, to impact people's lives. And I know for a fact that you feel the same way. So don't take that away from yourself and from others just because some loser somewhere is making you feel some way about a post that you made. In 2019, you have to be on every single social media platform, whether it's Twitter, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even the things that you feel like are out the door, they're not. Forget about it. Facebook, a lot of us nowadays are thinking that that's kind of like the thing of the past. It's not. When you understand Facebook marketing and the paid ad campaigns and things like that, it'll freaking blow your mind, the money that you can make from that. I'm talking millions of freaking dollars, and that happens still there, and it's brand new. Facebook hasn't even tapped into that market yet. They're so new in that. So it's not going anywhere. Instagram is massive. You know this. Don't think about TikTok as like just a teen platform. I've seen many, many freaking adults that have written like bestsellers are on TikTok, and they're killing the freaking game, because at the end of the day, guys, come on. Like, just think about this. Nowadays, Pepsi, Coke, all these massive companies, they're pulling the freaking budgets that they used to put in to make TV ads and spend millions of freaking dollars. And all that freaking money is going into social media, okay? And you've seen it. You see how much content they're putting out because they see the results. They're not stupid. If multi-billion-dollar companies are doing that, who the hell are you and I? Like, we need to jump on that bandwagon and take advantage of it. So you have to start thinking about it. Create social media accounts after this video. I'm saying, please pause the video right after this. And I swear to God, I'm not joking. Jump on it, create account on every single platform. And a lot of them nowadays, you can even just post on one and then post on the other, or there's tools out there that you can use to do that. And you just have to go everywhere. We're gonna be talking about this way more in the future videos. All right, now on to the real meat. Let's talk about what it takes to get hired. And I'm going to keep this very general because I know a lot of you who are taking this masterclass are also shooting and editing their own stuff. So I'm going to keep it broad so it makes sense, but it's applicable to basically anyone in any industry, really. So the first thing is, let's just say if you're an editor and a cinematographer and you want to tap into that color world, that color market, you know what I would recommend you do? Reach out to anyone and everyone on social media, reach out to directors, DPs, and ask them if you can color stuff for them for free, okay? Because what you need is your hands-on variety of footage from different cameras to better your skills. Because when you're out there working on jobs, sometimes you're gonna be working on a documentary that's shot with Red, Sony, GoPros, and a bunch of other cameras. So you really need to know what you're doing, because when you're on a real job, a lot of the times you don't really have the time to learn as you go. You just have to freaking go. And especially if you're a freelancer, the schedule is always really tight. So you just got to go in and do it. So the easiest way to get your foot in the door is offering value. And the way you're going to do that is by telling people that, hey, I'm a cinematographer, I'm an editor, I would love to collaborate. Let them know that you love their work, and be specific. Just spend 5 minutes to read up on what they got going on, so then you can send them a personalized message. Don't spam people. Nobody likes that. I never reply to anyone that just gives me the most blanket like question or statement. Like, I don't care. I'm deleting that message. I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm just saying that that person does not give me enough respect to take 2 minutes out of their time to reach out to me on a personal level. So, think about this and reverse engineer it, and you need to do the same. So reach out to people on social media, reach out to people especially on Instagram, because you can just go and look up DPs, and you can look up cinematographers and, directors that are putting out really good work. Just reach out to them, DM them, and tell them, hey, I'm looking to collaborate. This is what I do, and I want to transition into color grading. I've been grading some projects. Send them like a sample of what you graded, and just be like, hey, would you mind sending me some stuff? I can grade for you for free. I'm not encouraging you to always work for free or offer your services for free because your time is not valuable. That's not the point. But especially when you're transitioning into a brand new field, and if you're new, the most important thing to you is body of work. And you're not going to get body of work if you just kind of stay stubborn and tell people that, hey, I'm going to do this for you that I've never done, and you're not even looking for me, and I'm going to charge you money. It's just nonsensical, right? It doesn't make any sense. So to get the ball rolling, you have to initiate, you have to reach out to people and see what they say. And then you could be persistent. Follow up maybe after a week or something like that, and just be like, hey, I know you're busy. You probably got the message in your DM buried somewhere. Just wanted to remind you, it's me. Boom, 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 right? And I'm going to tell you this, you're going to be blown away by how many people are going to write you back. And this was impossible before social media. Forget about it. Nowadays, we can reach out to freaking person with 60,000, 50,000, 30,000 followers that are doing real stuff. And we can just reach out to them, and they write us back. They give us feedback. They can give us freaking advice for free. All this stuff was just behind closed doors and was just for the privileged. And now we have access to it. So go take advantage of it. Be bullish in your approach. You really need to have that hustler attitude and put that out in the world. So even when you reach out to people or whatever, have that persistence, that DNA, come oozing out of you. And that's very different than you being salesy and you being annoying. It's that fine line, and you have to find it. But the only way you're going to find it is by doing it many times. So let's just say you crash and burn in the first 50 people that you DM. But the 51st person that you're going to DM, you're going to be 500, 5,000 times better. And that's what it's about. That's why you got to initiate, and that's why you got to start now. So a year from now, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, holy hell. The amount of growth that's going to take place, I promise you, is going to be exponential. So here are 9 websites that I've curated for you, where regardless of where you are in the world, some of these websites are going to be applicable to you. So let's go through this list, and it's not necessarily in order, but let's just talk about the first one, Upwork. And I know this one for a fact that it's one of those global websites. So you can do either or. You can look for freelancers, which a lot of the times I do, and somebody develop your website or whatever have you, designers, you can look for them here, or you can look for a job. So you can go under job and just type in colorist, and then let's see what happens. Film colorist, first job. I need my feature length film to be colored 65 to 85 minutes. Now when it says $450 here, that's not exactly what it is. When you click on it and just read the description or whatever, it would be like a day or something, day rate, so it's like $450 a day, and then you can talk to them and like figure out what the actual budget is and just go from there. So yeah, Upwork is a great resource for both if you want to hire or if you want to look for work, because there might be somebody in some part of the world in Australia looking for a colorist, and you could be in freaking New Jersey and apply for that job and land that job. So second would be Freelancer. I'm pretty sure this is also global, so it doesn't matter where you live, and similar format. You either hire someone or you work for someone. So you go on there, browse jobs, and then just type in whatever. Video editor, product video making, freelance video editor, need a video created and edited. So you can see all that there, and it's 51 an hour. So I mean, that's not bad at all, $50 an hour. So but just make sure that all the sites that I'm telling you here, bookmark them, put them under, like, create a folder called jobs, and then put all these sites there, because this is it. This is creme of the creme, like after a lot of trial and error, and this is just what works and what you should be on for a variety of work. You can make a lot of money from these sites and get crazy big jobs, or you can get filler jobs in between and just pay your freaking bills. So whatever you want, it's right there. Fiverr is another big one. So on Fiverr, you can sign up and create a profile that people will look up and find you. So let's just say if I click on video and animation, look at what happens, right? So video editing, I click on that, and then boom. So all these people are offering this service, and this person is saying starting at $25. You can click on it and then find out what it really means. I know people that live off of Fiverr. They just have so many small jobs, and they just keep turning and burning, and they are thriving on that platform. So it's pretty huge. Look it up. LinkedIn, another great resource, another global resource, and it's only exploding by the day. You can click right here where it says jobs, and then just type it in and search for whatever. So for me, it's telling me what's available near me. I can just go through and look at what's happening and then apply for it right inside LinkedIn. All right, so Mandy is another huge one. You can either hire people or work for someone. So what you need to do is go under jobs and auditions and just click on it and then choose the category. So in this case, we're going to go with film and TV crew. And then there you go. You can fill in the information however you like. I'm looking under US, and then just look at what's available. Mandy usually have really good jobs. I've gotten a lot of work through Mandy in the past, and that was one of my go-to sites. All the people that are in US, Craigslist is still alive and well, and there's still a lot of work on here. And pick the city that you are living in, and then you can just click on creative gigs right here and then see what they're looking for. 4K videographer needed for cooking demos. Boom, there you go. Like, apply for it. Apply for anything and everything that comes up. Hit them up and see what they got going on, and if you can jump on something right away. You can also click on crew gigs, and again, you can even search for it, type in whatever you're looking for. Sports videographer needed, so go apply for it. In-house editor needed, boom, click, apply for the jobs. Sports videographer, need film editor ASAP, click, get the job, move on. You'll be surprised how many people and how many big companies post on Craigslist. It's kind of insane, and it's an amazing resource. Sometimes it gets a bad rep, and I'm not sure why that is, because work is work, and wherever you can find a job and build connections, it's all the same to me. So make sure to have this on your list. Then you got Glassdoor, and this is an amazing website as well, because not only you can look for jobs, but you can even read reviews
employees leave reviews for companies so you can really see what they're saying. In-N-Out Burger gets 4.3. That's a really, really high rating. That's pretty crazy. And then they're looking for a video editor, so you can look at it, click on it, read through, apply for the job. Video editor needed at Textile. Video editor needed at Lego. So just go through it, read. BuzzFeed is looking for a video editor project base, so they're looking for a freelancer. Glassdoor is a big one in US, and a lot of massive companies are posting jobs on Glassdoor. So that is one of those, like if you're looking for a legit workplace, if you want to work with an agency, or even if you want to work full time, Glassdoor would be a good option. Media Match used to be my jam. I was living on the site. So good. Definitely try it out. So go on Media Match. You're going to go under login and then just click on whichever country you're in. I'm going to go Media Match and then just click on job board. And then once you click on job board, you're going to see all these jobs. These were posted all yesterday. Scroll through, and if you want to be specific, you can type in your location and see what's popping up here. Senior production executive needed, editor needed. You can click on it, read the description, apply for the job once you sign up, and go from there. Media Match is another one with really big jobs. A lot of the times I've had a great luck and built some crazy connections working on projects through this website. So this is legit. It is paid, so you have to pay a month, but it's a good thing because it guarantees that everything here is quality. I had a great success with it, and I cannot recommend it enough. Last, I'm going to talk about Production Hub. This is a freaking ginormous resource. Anything production, post, you need to be on this. And the layout is very similar to other websites that we looked at. You can either hire or get hired. So let's just do find work. I can click right here and then find jobs, go in here and just select a category. So let's just go with post-production, and I'm just going to do apply filter, see what pops up. And then you can just go through editor for feature doc in San Diego, producer editor. So they're looking for a predator right there. Final Cut Pro editor, bunch of different jobs. Don't even worry about the cities, because most of the time that doesn't even matter anymore, because you can just tell them that, hey, you're going to work remotely. A lot of people nowadays are very comfortable with this because we got services like Frame.io and Vimeo Pro review service that it's not that big of a deal. I mean, when you're editing, they're not sitting over your shoulder 24/7, so it doesn't really matter anyways. You can just give them a lowdown, end of day, that's it. Like, you know, they could be satisfied. So opportunities are endless. You're just going to have to attack it and make it yours. So these are the sites that I will recommend you add to your bookmark and create a profile on most of them. And let's just say if money is tight right now and you don't want to sign up for the ones where you have to pay, then that's okay. Stick with the ones that are free and just start hitting up anyone and everyone, and whatever job opens up that you think that you can tackle, reach out to them, see what happens, do it all day long, do it the next day and the day after, rinse and repeat. And I promise you, if you stick with it, it's going to turn up. You're going to start hearing back. And once that happens, find that momentum and just run with it.
How to get paid through social media. It's never been easier. Gone are the days where you have to freaking put an ad in your local regional station and pay them freaking thousands of dollars, and nobody's going to watch it because it plays at 11 p.m. next to like all the infomercials that people like literally just are grossed out by, or putting in a freaking ad in a newspaper that I don't even know the last time I saw a freaking newspaper. So those days are gone. Social media is in. Accept it, admit it, own it, and just go and freaking blow up with it, because it's so freaking accessible and easy that when something is that obvious, we don't take advantage of it because we just think everybody's doing it. There's no weight to it. Like, we have to do something extra. You don't have to do something extra. That right there is the biggest sauce in this masterclass that I can give you. If you keep stuff basic, you will be freaking blown away what it will do for you. Exposure, exposure, exposure. Like, put your stuff out there. Educate people on what you do. Make how-to videos explain your freaking thought process, do breakdowns, and that's where it's at. On social media, if you're failing right now and if it's just not hitting home and you just don't understand what you're doing wrong, I'm gonna tell you right now, because everybody on social media is making it about themselves. It's like everything about me. Look at my pretty cat. Look at, where I'm vacationing. Look at this freaking $80 steak that I'm having. Look at my freaking beautiful wife. Everything is about themselves. So it's a one-way street. What do I have to say? Like when I look at that post, what am I supposed to say to that? Cool? Cool, man. Thumbs up. Like, great. Good for you. Like, let's just say I'm happy for you, but this is where it just ends. Like, that's it. Like, there's nowhere I can go from there. But if you start a dialogue, if you start thinking about a conversation, every post that you make, if you turn it into a conversation, then think about it. So if I say like, whatever it is, like if I just put something out and be like, want to know how I graded this for Genesis, and then I show you a breakdown, and then I actually in my caption explain to you what I'm doing, and then at the end I end it with like, how do you approach color grading automotive? Now we're starting a dialogue. Now we're starting a conversation. You saw what I did. I gave you the value. I started with a question that was intriguing, so that got you hooked, made you watch the whole thing, then read the caption, and it ended with, all right, what do you have to say? Add your 2 cents. And that's a two-way street. And I'm not doing that pandering for freaking views or anything like that. I'm doing that because I'm genuinely interested. Because if I'm sharing everything with you and I'm being fully transparent, then this is just how my brain works. And I want the same in return. And if you do that, then we're freaking besties. Know what I'm saying?
So I want to show you a couple of these posts, right? Let's check this out. So I'm just going to go through some random ones. So let's look at this one. I'm showing you a breakdown, what I'm doing, what's happening on the screen, and then I give you some tips and I make a pretty chunky post and it's related to what's happening up here and giving you some tips and tricks, and then look at the comments. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. And then I'm engaging with everyone, okay? No stones unturned. Like, I am there. I'm going to be commenting. Then come down to, let's look at this one. Okay? 5 mistakes to avoid as a beginner colorist. Value. I'm even throwing subtitles, so even if you're not listening to it, you can read it. Like, make your content as frictionless as possible because you just want people to consume it however they like, cater to them. And then look at again. Like, I'm breaking down all the parts I'm talking about in the video. I'm breaking it into my caption and keeping it super clean. And then let's look at the comments again. 93 comments. And again, I'm going to be commenting back to each person. Okay? You guys make my community, all right? So I'm not going to just act like I'm better than anyone, and nobody should act like that. That's disgusting. Anyone who just thinks that they're too good for that now. So that's what I'm talking about. Let's look at some other ones. See how I said I start with a question? So just look at that, 91 comments. And if you troll that down, like, I mean, this one is not that long, but the question was there and I knew that's going to do the trick. You can switch it up, obviously, always, and just try what works. Another question one, and then, some value bombs, and look at the comments, 114. So you're starting to pick up the pattern that what I'm talking about. And that's just the whole thing. 89 comments. Again, breaking down the whole process, giving value, putting my face to it so people get to know me as a person. I'm building a relationship on another level, and that's important. Also, another key tip is your bio should be super crystal clear. Okay, here it says content creator. All the emojis tell you that I direct, I shoot, I edit, I color, DM for collab, so I'm available to work with you. And then it's gonna say, this is my new hot product, try it out. So whatever your thing is, put a freaking link in there. Another thing that you guys should totally look into is this thing called Linktree. And just sign up for that, it's free. But look at how amazing that is. So instead of having one link, you can have freaking multiple links. So now I'm giving people choices what they want to do. So whether they want to sign up and look at some YouTube videos for free content, if they're looking to just get some LUTs and some additional training videos for free, then go do that. Or if you want the ultimate crash course, that's about an hour long, that's also free, go do that. Whatever you're into, those options are available for you. So that's just a few things that I can share with you and what works.
So I highly encourage you to start thinking about it like a conversation, and every post that you make, put some thought into it. Don't just make a post because you got a checklist where you just got to check it off that, okay, you posted today and you posted tomorrow, because that's not really doing much. But that doesn't mean that you have to spend 4 hours on every post. As I said, keeping things basic goes a very long way. And then there are times when I'm talking to people and they're preparing for it. They use that term, I'm getting ready for it, I'm working on it, I'm gonna drop it, I'm gonna launch it, I'm gonna drop that post. Like, who's waiting for it? Who knows you? Like you have 500, 600 followers, whatever. Even out of those, you're gonna get 15 likes. Like, so who's anticipating for that besides you? So make it easy on yourself. Take that pressure off. Like it doesn't even matter. Like, you can just freaking have a caption loaded with freaking typo galore and it doesn't even matter, because who cares? Like, just think of it as like nobody's watching, nobody's looking at it. This is your page, this is your house, you're doing it for yourself, and you just don't care. And get that pressure off your freaking chest. I mean, people who've been following me for the last 2 months or 2.5 months or whatever, you know that I started hitting hard on Instagram since July 12th. I have it written down right there. So I started hitting hard on Instagram on July 10th or July 12th, and I had about 860, 870 followers. And since then, just go on my Instagram, the Cosman, and just look up where I'm at right now. So what I'm trying to say is that this is what it's about. It's all about having that attitude, and then be persistent. Be persistent, because persistence in social media pays in a huge way. Outreach is everything on social media. You'll be surprised how easy it is to just reach out to people and be like, hey, this is what I do. Check out my reel. If you're looking for a colorist, if you're looking for an editor, hit me up. And so many times people are going to start the conversation with like, love your work. What's your rate? This is my rate. Oh, cool. We can only pay this much. Can you do this for us? And, we have 2 days, blah, 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 to turn this around. Take it, do it, get paid. It's really that easy. When I started taking social media seriously and not looking at it as like, oh, this is for kids and blah, 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 and I'm not that narcissistic and this, that, and the other thing. When I started deep diving into it, within the first freaking week, I had made $4,000 off of social media, and it wasn't even that hard. I wasn't even spending 7 hours a day on it. And if you do, then you can imagine what can happen if you just go all freaking in. Number 3, content strategy. A lot of people don't believe in that. They just go, hey, just go, just do shit, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just like keep throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. Yes, when you're starting out, absolutely shoot in all directions, because you don't know. But what I would recommend is have that analytical part of your brain working in the background. So what I mean by that is, if you're on Instagram, turn on analytics. And you can do that by turning your personal page into a business page. And you don't have to have a business to have that. But once you turn it into a business page, then at that point, you can look at analytics and you can analyze everything that's happening. And that data is freaking invaluable. That's what you need. So when I started making all these posts, and I was just going in every direction and trying out whatever in the beginning, but it was still were very niche and, targeted to my audience. But I was just going in every direction. And then very soon I started picking up the patterns that, okay, this post did 10 times better than these 6 posts. So this one is going to be one of those recurring once a week thing. And then I picked up my second winner, my third winner, my fourth winner. And I'm going to show you right now on the screen how I have everything laid out and how I attack it. And that's what I'm talking about. Come up with your own system and setup. And then at least there's going to be some element of predictability, which is going to start making things a bit easier on yourself, because you can just take one day of the week or on a Saturday or something, and you can just hash out the ideas for, let's just say, your 7 posts for the next week, because you have some sort of content strategy in place. You know exactly what's going to go when, and you can break it up into different days.
All right, so let's check this out, what I'm talking about, right? So if you click on your picture right here on the bottom right, you can click the top 3 lines right here, and then you can go under Insights. Make sure, first of all, that your account is a business account. So I think you can, let's just go through this, right? So go under Settings right here, and then in here, you can go under Account, and then make sure, like right here at the bottom, it says switch to personal account, switch to business account. Just make sure that it's switched to business account. So mine is a business account, and I'll show you why. Because you can troll this open, and then I can go under insights. And then once I'm in insights, I can click on where it says feed post see all. I can click on this, and now I can see what is really happening. So even just looking at this image right here, I can tell you, let's just see in the last year what got the most engagement. So I can right off the bat see that the before after videos are the bomb, and even the carousel, they get a lot of attention. I can also see that people like the setup ones. The setup posts blow up a lot too. And then another thing that I see is that me in the picture. So even in this setup one, this one right here, because I'm in it, and then look at this one, I'm in it, look at this one, I'm in it, this one I'm in it, this one I'm in it. So another thing is that people like to see the face of the person they're interacting with. So that in mind, I have these value bomb videos that I do, 3 things this, 5 mistakes that. So that kind of content. So now I got that in place. Now that we got our numbers and we see what works, then we can build a content strategy around that. So let's just scroll down and let me show you what I mean. So let's say we're around here somewhere, right? So let's look at this. So I'm doing a before and after video. Then next to it, I do a color with Kazi, which is basically I'm taking you through in 1 minute how I'm building a grade. Then I do a personal post, which is going to have me in it, and then the caption is going to follow whatever is on the picture. Then I'm going to do a Motivation Monday, and I'm going to do 3 things this, 5 mistakes that. Then I'm going to do a carousel where I'm going to give you a before and after, and then I'm going to give you more information, you know, GIFs and all that. And then again, it's going to have all this value jam-packed. Then I'm going to do a studio post, and I'm going to load up my studio post with tons of freaking value, because other than that, it's just a pretty picture, right? So I'm thinking about all that. And then rinse and repeat. We're back to before and after video, and look at, then we go back to color with Kazi. So I got 7 days worth of content that's so different. And IG loves when things are unpredictable. IG does not like, and that goes for any social media platform, they're not going to push your content if it's always the same with the same hashtags and everything. So get creative with that. But this right here, what I just shared with you, is literally the sauce that took me from 800 followers 2 months ago to 30,400 followers in less than literally 60 days. And a lot of you are following me from, you know, a couple of months ago, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So this right there, I just gave you everything that I'm doing. So follow this and do not question it. Give it a shot for about a month and see for yourself.
Now let's talk about strategies to work with high-end clients. And I can tell you at this point, you're probably thinking, yo, are you starting to repeat yourself? Because you've already said this, but I'm telling you, I am going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it, whether it's in this masterclass or my videos, until it gets drilled into your brain. Because when something is so simple and basic, we overlook it, and we need to be reminded of that over and over again until it gets buried into our skull. So I'm going to keep doing it. Let's go. Number 1, collaboration. Nothing is going to grow you faster than collaborating with people that are either at your level or much higher. So always reach out really high and see what happens. But at the same time, do not think that you're better than people who are at your similar level and they want to collaborate with you. Just do it. And a lot of the times collaboration will be like a skill exchange, right? So I can color for you if I get my hands on awesome footage that you shot with red. So that's a collaboration right there. Now you can get to use that footage on your demo reel, otherwise you didn't have access to. And that is going to take you to the next level where you're going to land a big gig, because somebody sees a project that doesn't feel like, you know, indie or something that was shot with A7 III or something like that. And all of a sudden when they watch it, you now have the leverage to go apply for bigger jobs, or even hit up people that were out of your reach before, and now they're willing to collaborate. You got to climb up that ladder very methodically, very systematically, but you got to start somewhere, and collaboration is the first step. Offer value. So this is going to come in the form of you sharing your breakdowns, sharing your process and how you do something, and really letting in people on what the sauce is and how you do stuff. And when you're that authentic and when you're that real, you're going to start getting discovered. You're going to attract people that you might think are way out of your league, but they're going to appreciate what you're putting out, because most of the time they don't get to see how somebody does something. And that is important, because there's too many fakers out there, that believe in fake it till you make it too hard. And they're like using stuff that's not even necessarily theirs. And they're throwing blanket statements on like making a demo reel where they were a PA, but they might be saying that, oh, cinematographer, editor, colorist, PA, but then they didn't even shoot that stuff or grade it, but they're playing those games. So people out there that are looking for gems, when they're going to see you putting out so much value for free and pouring your heart into it, they're going to see it and they're going to understand the value of what goes into what you do for a living. And they're going to appreciate that, reach out to you, get you business, and you're going to go from there. Trust me, you don't even have to be big to have that impact. You don't even have to have a 10,000 follower account or 15,000 follower account. You can literally have 500 followers and you can put out content like that. And with the help of hashtags and the time of day you post stuff, you're going to get discovered. And it doesn't matter. It's a level playing field out there, especially in the world of social media. And if your content is good, it's not going to get discriminated. People are going to get to see it one way or another. So if I'm saying, hey, I want to do this thing for you for free, and that person says, well, even if you do it for free, you don't have the right to use this footage because of X, Y, and Z, whichever company they're working with or whatever the deal might be, still do it, because at the end of the day, you're getting a lot of experience from it. And if it's shot well, then you're learning how things go down in the real world. And 3, good karma. I mean, that's just good karma always comes back. We know this. And you just never know when they're going to come back around and go, hey, now we got a paid gig. We love what you did. We respect your work ethic. And would you be able to jump on this? And boom, there you go. You just got your break. And 4, ask for it. Just ask for it. How many times have you stumbled upon something or just happened to be in the right place and you did something that you thought that you could have never done and it just happened? It's because serendipity. Sometimes you just got to go in and you just got to freaking ask for it, because trust me, so many people are not doing that. I had a person that just reached out to me and said, hey, I live in LA. Do you want to grab a cup of coffee and chat? I was surprised when I read that, and I'm just like, well, I mean, that's interesting. And you know what I said? I said yes. I went and met up with that person. Same thing happened to me that I did to someone. I reached out to someone who was a really well-known cinematographer in LA, and I said, hey, would love to meet up and have a chat. And the person wrote me back and said, absolutely, love your stuff, blah, blah, blah. We started a little conversation on Instagram DM, and we hung out and had a great time. And next week, I'm going to be doing a podcast with him. And it all happened because I just asked for it. I reached out. So it is that simple. You're not going to know until you apply yourself and you do it. But once you do it, it's going to be like opening the Pandora's box. You're just going to have like the whole world open up to you, and the possibilities are going to be freaking endless. I promise you. So start applying. Just start asking for it. All right, so this is a freaking jam-packed, just filled with freaking value bombs, curated off of your questions that you have been asking on all social media platforms from me. And finally, I've put them all together, and this is the end result. I'm gonna read you the questions, and this is a rapid fire round, so we're gonna just freaking breeze through it. Let's go. Number 1 question is, how do I get clients? So here's the order based on priority. Social media is start reaching out to people that you admire and you want to work with. Just ask for it and pretty much apply everything that we talked about. So that's going to be my number 1 answer to you for that. Number 2, referrals. So anywhere you worked in the past and any connection that you've built, hit those people up, Go through your Rolodex, even if it's pretty slim and you got a couple of people on there, that's a great start. Reach out to someone that knows someone, might hook you up with someone else. Do all those things and it's much better. And you're going to have a higher chance to landing a job because you're going in with your half foot already in the door. And then finally, the traditional golden standard, cold calling, applying for jobs online, whatever pops up, just go for it. And it's the numbers game. The more you apply, you're going to hear back from someone. So just go from there. Number 2, how much should I charge for a project? That's going to depend on 3 things. It depends on your skill set. It depends on your client. It depends on the project. So project is, is it a documentary that you're working on? So the budget is tight. If it's a short film, indie film, same thing. They're paying out of their pocket. Music videos, what kind of music video? Are we talking big label? Are we talking come up? If it's a feature film, is it a passion project or is it by a big production? So all those things come into play. Secondly, client. Who's your client? Like, are you dealing with A-list client, B-list client, C-list client? Like, you have to kind of put them in those categories, and that's going to make it really easy to come up with a price point. 3, your skill set. Are you a beginner? If you're a beginner, don't even bring money in. Just do it for whatever they're freaking paying you. You can even ask them what their budget is. You could be even honest and tell them that, hey, I'm new to this. I don't know. What do you think is fair? Or if you're sort of intermediate or if you're advanced, then go from there. Then you have your day rate and you start from there. And maybe depending on that's where you start playing around. What kind of project it is, what kind of client it is. Can you squeeze a lot more from this client than that one? So all those things. There you go. How to start freelancing. So here are my 3 tips. Do it as a side hustle. So if you have a full-time job or a day job, whatever, keep it. Don't lose that job. Start experimenting with freelancing by taking side gigs, just small gigs here and there, $100 here, $200 there. Do something over the weekends, do something at nights that you come home and instead of watching Chernobyl, you just like work on a project for 2 hours, go to bed, go to your day job, come back, rinse and repeat. That's 1. Number 2, right out of college. There's no better time to get into freelancing than when you're fresh out of college. You might still be living with your parents. You need all the help that you can get. And then with that, use that to try it out, because even if you fail, it doesn't matter. You can always go back the traditional full-time job route. But if you're fresh out of college, you have a lot of time for trial and error. So freelancing is the best way. If you start with a full-time job, you might be stuck there for 10 years. And then after that, you're just settled, you're married, you have kids. It's going to be a pipe dream to go follow your heart. And, it might be nonsensical at that point. But when you're fresh out of college, you got that fire, you got that passion. And if you can just like hit the ground running with freelancing, you might find a lot of success in that. And that financial help, being at your parents or getting that little cushion, is going to go a long way. Number 3, do what I did. Just freaking do it. I mean, I just stopped feeling it at my full-time job. It just wasn't for me and I wasn't doing justice. I felt like I was just robbing them and I was robbing myself because it just became like a collecting paychecks thing. And it was just too early into my career and I had to take a freaking 180 and I went with it and the rest is history.
All right, that is some real gold right in front of you. How to create an invoice. This is an estimate which turned into an invoice once they approved it. But first you're going to send them an estimate and then have them look at it, send it through to their department, wherever the approval is going to happen. And then they can come back at you and say, hey, this is too much, this is fine, whatever they say. Then you move forward. And then once it's approved, you make the adjustments and you turn it into an invoice. So the service that I'm using is called QuickBooks. And that's from this company, Intuit. So you can use whatever service there, or you can just make your own invoices using templates you can download online. This is what I go through. So I'm just going to take you through what is happening here. So we have a product service on the left-hand side, and I break it up this way. This project was basically a full end-to-end post-production. So we were logging it, editing it, conforming it, grading it, finishing it, and delivering it. So all of that was happening. So I broke it into 6 or 5 different segments. So I have editorial prep, and then within that, I try to keep it nice and clean. So it has a heading preparation before the edit, and then we go in and we explain what it is. And guys, be super descriptive. That goes a long way. If you need to charge big bucks, the more you break it down, the more you can charge. It's that simple. So look at each words as dollar signs, okay? So the more words, more money. And let's just read through some of these, okay? Preparation before the edit. Organization and duplication of all media received from set. Transcoding of raw camera files to the offline codec. Apple ProRes LT is what I ended up using. Video and sound syncing. So I sync the audio and everything. Assignment of the Post Village affiliated assistant editor to support the technical needs of the editor throughout the offline editing process. That's one. Then we go into editing. And then what are we working on? We'll create 4 60-second segments and 4 15-second pre-rolls, blah, 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 blah. All the details about what I'm working on. I cannot reveal that information, but this is where you break it down, each video, what you're going to be doing. You don't have to write paragraphs, but you just have to kind of bullet point it. And that goes in here. Then online prep, locked edit to final delivery. So that is the conforming process where you take the offline edit from, say, Premiere Pro, and then you bring it into DaVinci Resolve. You're going to break it down. Preparation of final approved offline edits for color, visual effects, and sound mixing to ensure that 100% accuracy of the vision is retained. Final conform and assembly of picture and sound elements to create final online versions. And then posting for final remote virtual client quality control and approval. Okay? And then grading. Grading and finishing will color grade 4 60-second segments with 4 15-second pre-roll videos. And then delivery, final delivery, will export all the videos to the delivery method of your choosing. This does not include reformatting or adding closed captions for Facebook and Instagram. For special delivery instructions, reach out to us for more information. This is very important right here. You got to spell this stuff out. You don't want to be held accountable. Sometimes you're just going to do a blanket final delivery and that's it, and then they're going to ask for like 60 types of deliverables and you don't understand. Nowadays with Instagram story and Instagram post and square format and all these different aspect ratios, you just have to go in, you have to reframe every single shot, and it turns into a really crazy tedious task. Just make sure that you spell it out so they know what they're going to be getting. Anything additional, they can reach out to you and you can go from there. And then sales, I usually do 50% upfront and 50 upon delivery. So I put that right here, and then I'll add the amount that is due right here. So this is how you create the estimate. And like I said, invoice is going to be the same exact thing with the alterations. Whatever they come back with, you make the changes on the right hand side with the rates or whatever. Or even if there's some creative copy that's different, they want more videos, less videos, whatever, you make those changes, and then this gets converted into an invoice. I want you to create your own process. If you want to use this, you're more than welcome to pause it on a frame and then just go through this and take it. It's yours.
How to negotiate a rate. Here is the biggest tip that I'm going to give you, okay? And that is this. I know that they're always going to ask you, what's your day rate? Turn that question around. Nobody said that you can't. Turn it around and say, what's your budget? How much do you have allocated for color? Just ask them that. Boom. Be persistent and don't let go. Kind of hold that, because think about this. The reason why they're asking you for a rate is because they want the leverage. If you turn it around, now you got the leverage. As soon as they say, we were thinking 5,000. Maybe in your head, you were going to charge 2,500. They told you 5,000. Boom. You just made 2,500 bucks. Maybe they're going to say 2,000 and you wanted to charge 2,500. Then it's really easy for you to go, hey, you know what? This doesn't work for me because I charge 25. Okay. So now here's $1 million tip. Okay. Let's say you charge $1,500 for a video that your client is asking for. Once you apply my first tactic where you ask them what's their budget and say they go $3,000, you know what you want to do? You don't want to go, oh, that's amazing, because you know that you were going to charge $1,500, they're paying you $3,000. Oh my God, that's great. No, because always remember, if the client is saying $3,000, that means their budget is much bigger than that, and they have a lot more like leeway to play around with those numbers. So don't say 3,000 and that's great, let's go. say, oh, that's kind of, on the low end. I charge 5,000 for something like that. So can we work something out? As soon as you do that, they know that you're a pro and you've been around the block, and then they're going to come back and counter you with 4,000. And now you just went from making $1,500 to freaking 4,000 because you applied my first rule to get that leverage, and then freaking expand on that and trampoline that to freaking 3 times your freaking income on one project. And trust me, it really is that simple, but you have to be persistent and you kind of have to stick with it. Play that game. Now I'm going to give you some general rates in US, and that applies here, but kind of translates, I feel like, loosely throughout the world. So for a colorist, if you're a junior colorist just getting in and just, kind of like a one-man band and do your own thing, it varies, right? So if you're working on documentaries or something like that, it's going to start at 400, 500 a day, and then it goes from there. If you're working with a proper agency, your day rate could be $1,500 for a senior colorist. That's the starting point. And then you can go from there, and it could be 2,000, 2,500, or even more than that. So it's good to kind of know these numbers in the back of your head, and then just be honest with yourself, know your skill set and know where you're at, and kind of frame yourself accordingly. Should I work with businesses directly or through an agency? That is an amazing question, and this is how you have to look at it. If you're dealing with small businesses, deal with them directly. Cut the middleman and just keep the cash and build that relationship where it's going to turn into a really, really lucrative deal over time. If you're working with a massive client, huge client, you're not even going to get access to them because they're almost always going through agencies. So if you're working with Nissan or Toyota or something like that, they already have their massive agencies that are global conglomerates. So you're going to have to connect through them. So figure out a way to get your way into that agency and then work on those gigs. But the thing is that it's a give or take, right? Because working through an agency, you can still make so much freaking money because the work that's coming in, their budgets are so much bigger, but then you're going to have a little bit less creativity and that freedom. But working for a mom and pop, you might not make as much money, but the freedom you're going to get is going to be invaluable because a lot of the growth comes from trial and error and kind of, doing your own thing than being told what to do. But ultimately, there's nothing wrong with either or. They're both great and they both serve different purposes, and you need both to be an ultimate package. How do I deal with difficult clients? 1, suck it up. This is the reality. That's what it is. They're paying you. Just stop complaining and be the one who comes up with solutions and solve problems. 2, follow the same principle. Customer is always right. Client is always right. 3, that does not mean that you have to be a pushover. You can still offer solutions and have your say and have your input, but being respectful and come from the side of ownership and accountability, and not necessarily like, you guys screwed it up, I don't know how to fix it, I don't know what to do. Nobody likes that. So take ownership, come up with a solution, and the difficult clients will not be difficult because they're gonna freaking love you for it. And honestly, a lot of the times, people that you might just throw in that blanket and say difficult clients, you might actually learn a lot from them if you just open up your mind and don't look at it from that pessimistic attitude. Look at it from an opportunity. I worked on gigs with clients that were just crazy. And at the time, for the moment, it felt like, oh my God, they're pushing it a bit much. But then now when I look back in hindsight, the experience that I gained from it, it just catapulted my career. It just took me on a whole another freaking level. And that came from working with those difficult people. So have an open mind and have a positive mentality and go in with that attitude of being a problem solver. And I think there is no such thing as difficult client. When should I charge my clients? So 2 different ways to go about it. But before I even start, I got to tell you, always do a contract. A lot of the times, if you're working with a legit company, they're going to send you a contract to sign. If you're working with just a person or like a mom and pop, make sure that you download, Google some contract, legal contract, and send them that and make sure that they sign it, because guys, don't get ripped off. I mean, I've been pushing you to work for free, and that's different than you getting ripped off because somebody took advantage of you. They said they're going to pay you and they didn't pay you. So for that, always send them a freaking legal document. So that's one. Now that's out of the way. Two ways that I go about it. Recently, what I've been doing is 50-50. So 50 upfront, 50 after delivery. So that is the way I'm setting up my purchase order and invoices. And most of the clients are totally fine with it. And then two, if they have their own accounts payable and their own setup and they want to deal with it that way, then that's totally fine. Just do net 30. Net 30 means that they can pay you within a month. So after you complete the job. So you finish the job, wait for 30 days, and you should be paid by then. And usually I will send a reminder 2.5, 3 weeks in and kind of say that, hey, just want to know if the check was ever mailed, blah, blah, blah. And then, they'll just say, yes, the check was mailed yesterday. You should have it in 3 days or something like that. So those are the two standard ways to go about it. How do I build a Rolodex? That's my favorite question. And the answer is super simple. Just get out there and be known. Put your energy out there, your passion, your charisma, what drives you. Let the world in on that. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And you're going to attract people that you have never even dreamt of. Have the mentality of just providing value. And as I suggested, like some strategies, putting out content where you do breakdowns, show people what's going on, share behind the scenes, make captions that are more like a dialogue than a one-way street, and just give. And when you come from that perspective where people can just feel and see it, that you're all about giving, and then they cannot help to give it back. And that's what it's about. That's what you want to create. You want to create a culture. You want to create a movement. And it happens by you being selfless, and you're going to get it back. I mean, I'm not saying to turn into Gandhi. Like, you're going to be collaborating and working on projects that you dreamt of your whole life. And you're going to be making so much money by doing that it's going to freaking blow your mind. But in the beginning, there's going to be a lot of elbow grease. There's going to be a lot of work. But I also want you to work smart and not work hard. And every single thing that I discuss in this module is all about that. Maximizing the current trends and what's happening and how to catch that and just run with it. I don't want you to freaking hit the ground running. I freaking want you to hit the ground flying. The time has come. I hope you're as stoked as I am for you. This is everything. Literally, I did not hold anything back. And all inventions come from a need, and this is no exception. You have no idea how badly I wish that I had this roadmap when I started freelancing, because you know what I'm talking about. People in our industry are funny, okay? The ones that are teaching are not doing. They're not practitioners. And the ones that are actually doing big things are too important for you and me, and they don't have the time to teach. I'm so thankful, and I feel so honored to have the opportunity to share what I know and bring positive change in your life through my knowledge and my experience. And guys, I have just one favor to ask. If you can take a moment to just write me a quick line about your experience with FCM, you can DM me on social media or just a quick email. It will mean the world to me. And just remember, work hard, get obsessed, get possessed, and I will see you in the next masterclass.